This game is going up not because of my performance, which was nothing short of abysmal, but because it is just Pubbie masterpiece theatre at its finest, and actually is a good example of the reason I usually sit and watch games after I've been killed. And you know, a lot of people would rather just quit out and go to the next tank. I don't, because if you do that, you run the risk of missing something truly spectacular like this game. And then my SU-100Y, so is Decimal, and Sterling has brought his KV-2, so we got pretty much a gimmick platoon set up. It would have been nice to land in the tier 6, but tier 7 is not so bad. You can still do a lot of work here. In theory, at least. It all starts looking bad when the vast majority of our team starts heading south. We have 3 tanks heading to the middle, one of which is a top tier heavy tank, and in fact us 3 and the Arty are the only ones heading to the north here. Obviously we're going to want to play a defensive game. There's no way we can push with just 3 tanks, all of which have relatively long reloads, particularly the KV-2, and giant size and no armor. We've already lost our Crusader, so we're scouting the middle. He has established there are in fact enemy tanks just outside their spawn, a minute and 20 seconds into the game, which is important to know, I guess. Unfortunately, Dessler overextends a little and runs headlong into KV-1S, Sherman, and there's an IS behind that backing them up as well, which will get lit in a moment. Dessler manages to take the Sherman out, but he's already lost most of his hit points, and Sterling can't really support him without also getting hit. So he goes down to the KV-1S, Sterling lifts his shot, it happens in the KV-2. And I decide to just sit here and wait, because that's really the best thing I can do, is let the enemy come out into the open in front of me and then try and get as many shots off as I can before I inevitably die. Meanwhile, we've also lost KV-1S somehow, and our Tiger and 3002M are still farting about the middle of the map doing absolutely nothing. We also have 3 tanks still in spawn. And our Hellcat just now thinks it's a good idea to leave spawn and come support north. Take out the 1S. I should probably have been shooting gold here, but I was kind of worried about having just that extra 20 odd mil a pen. It turns out that all the targets I was shooting at I would have penned anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And the extra damage would have been pretty useful. I get hung up on a building trying to traverse and engage the VK. Thankfully he's an abysmally bad shot, absolutely terrible, and so he misses me twice while I get a shot into him. This is a bad situation. I've got these guys on my right, they're about to overwhelm Sterling. I've got this guy shooting at me from my left. The T-29's about to come out any moment around here. Our Arty's already gone. I move forwards to try and take out the IS, because it's the biggest threat. Unfortunately, I roll low and fail to kill him. And that's the end of me. 1263 damage might be acceptable for a Pubbie in a tier 6. Well, acceptable to a Pubbie in a tier 6, not 4. But in this thing I was averaging about 2,500 damage per game up until this point, so I wasn't really happy with that. Now this is where the game actually gets interesting. We still have... excuse the bleep looping, I forgot to mute Steam again. We still have 3 tanks that have never left spawn. They aren't actually AFK, they just haven't left spawn. Now they decide it's a good time to, after everybody else in North is dead. T1, VK3001 and a Wolverine. They would have been really nice to have up there about 2 minutes ago. T1 plays like he's either very drunk or has a ping in the 800s. That's the only way I can explain what he is doing, honestly. Our Tiger 1 has somehow got himself up to 4 kills. I don't know how. I don't know what he's even been shooting at to get that. Excuse my bouncing around between tanks. So here he is, in the middle of the swamp. VK's still there as well. Somehow, between them, they've got 5 kills in the most useless part of the map. I couldn't explain it. Here we have an AFK T25-2, which the VK is bravely going after and missing at like, what's that? Not even 200 meters? I don't know. About 200 meters. And he misses again while getting shot in the side from the enemy spawn by the flak bus, I believe. Yep, flak bus. Now we're down to our Tiger and our Wolverine, and just as a reminder of these players' skill, Tiger is 46% after 2,000 games. The Wolverine is somehow 53% despite having terrible WNA, but he has 11,000 games, so he's not very good, and it certainly shows. I think he must have been either low tier stat padding or padding in companies to get that win rate, because he certainly didn't play like a 53%er. Sorry, I'm very popular today apparently. I keep forgetting to mute Steam, so that's mine going off, not yours. The Wolverine is still up in fucking E0 on the cliffside where he's been all game doing absolutely nothing. Apparently an MLG pro strat. It's working though, because he somehow killed 2 people from there. 2 people were stupid enough to drive in front of that guy's gun. Now it's just a T-34-85 up north, near our cap. I could not possibly imagine why he hasn't started capping yet. The mind boggles. The enemy T-29 is still farting around in D4 where he's been all game. He never pushed up. The T-25-2 is still AFK and remains so for the rest of the game. The Toaster hasn't left their base. Just like, what the fuck is even going on? Sterling and I stayed to watch the game. Desua went I think he quit out to garage and went AFK to get a drink or something, and he missed one of the most astonishing matches. Sterling and I couldn't believe what we were seeing. We were just sitting there in TeamSpeak, like, just gasping in horror at the sheer level of awfulness that was on display. That's another thing as well. Even if you have a shit game like this, if you can hang around after it and watch the puppies fuck up in a hilariously inept manner, at least you got something to laugh about with your platoon mates. I play in a platoon so I have somebody else to suffer with, not so I have somebody to carry me, contrary to popular belief. These 2 idiots somehow between them have 7 kills. I couldn't explain it if I tried. Watch this little exchange of fire here. This is fucking magical. Brilliant shooting there from the Wolverine. He's obviously going for the bonus where if you shoot the ground in front of your face, it actually weakens the enemy armor by 50%. That's not a thing, by the way, just in case you were wondering. I'm sure there are World of Tanks players who would actually believe that, though. Meanwhile, our hero in the Tiger has got himself a Top Gun medal. A fucking Top Gun medal for this guy. Driving his Tiger into the middle of swamp. I don't know. I just honestly don't know. Look at him, he doesn't even know to hold right mouse when he reverses, so he has to look behind him with his turret when he backs up. Like, this guy's at least new to the game, so he has an excuse. The Wolverine doesn't. What's he doing? Why is he backing up like this? Why not just turn and drive forwards? I've been telling them that the T-25's AFK, they should know. The Toaster's still in the enemy base. He obviously hasn't fucking moved. Finally, the Toaster has actually moved. The T-29 hasn't, so the Toaster's alone here. He gets a couple of shots into the Tiger. The Tiger completely whiffs his shot into fucking orbit. His T-29 moves just enough to get an edge shot into the Tiger there, a tracking shot. But he hasn't actually left that ridge line, he's still in the same spot. As you can see... Oh no, he has... Correction, he has left that spot. He's moved around into the swamp, but he hasn't moved far. If I had to guess, I'd say he probably came down that hill there, and has been shooting from the rocky island in the middle, where the VK died. Well, not the VK, where the Crusader died. Either way, he hasn't gone very far, which isn't surprising because the T-29 isn't exactly fast, and he isn't exactly good. This match though, like, if this was me and Sterling, still alive, and even in these same two tanks, you know, same amount of hit points, everything, this would have been over 5 minutes ago. This is characteristic of pubbies trying to carry a game. They just kind of mill around aimlessly until the timer hits about 2 minutes, and then they start actually moving with a sense of urgency. But it's also a good demonstration of exactly what I mean when I say pubbies do not know what they are doing. They just drive around without a fucking clue. Here we go. The M10 decides he'll just slowly traverse his turret towards the T-29, then he'll traverse his hull the other way, so he has to turn his turret even more. I don't know what this guy's doing. Reminder, that guy's 53% somehow. The Tiger with 6 kills is 46%. Which is probably what the Wolverine actually would be if he didn't play low tiers so much, or playing companies, or whatever the fuck it is he does. Here it comes. Misses a shot broadside of the T-29. Lets it get into a position where it would actually be hold down if it pulled back a little. But the T-29 driver, thankfully, is as stupid as these two. And if you look from the Tiger's height, isn't hold down at all, actually. He's driving out to the open. I was getting really worried here. Sterling and I were like completely panicking, freaking out in TeamSpeak, thinking that we lost at this point because there was no way the Tiger would win a DPM race with that many hit points against the T-29. Tiger does have much higher DPM, but doesn't have the armor. And the T-29 has higher alpha. But no, he does actually win it somehow because the enemy T-29 decides not to shoot. Maybe he had a broken rack or dead loader. Now, they've got 2 minutes to kill the AFK guy, so what do? Drive through the swamp, which is the most circuitous, slow route possible because the swamp is soft ground, and soft ground makes you go slow, it makes you turn like a boat. This guy climbs up a hill in a Tiger. Oh my god. You couldn't make this shit up, really, you just could not make this shit up. Our patience was beginning to wear a little thin at this point. Instead of getting on the ridge and shooting across when the Wolverine spots, the Tiger drives up the hill, then down the hill to cross the bridge. So he just climbed that hill for no reason whatsoever and slowed himself down. It's AFK. He knows where it is. He could just keep blind firing at the same place, but no, he has to drive towards it. Really, I don't know how these people function. So there you have it. A 46% new player in a Tiger, clowning around in the swamp with a Radley-Walters medal. The Wolverine survives and gets 3 kills. I just, like, I don't know. If the enemy team could not beat those two, they didn't deserve a win, quite frankly. Of all the players on our team I expected to pull off a carry, I did not think it would be them. It wasn't even a carry, it was just a contest of who was more retarded, and it turns out the enemy team had been thrown down the stairs harder as children than our team. This game, though, is just, it's magical. As much as I complain about shit players, they're a great source of entertainment. I have to wonder what goes through the minds of these people, because I honestly couldn't tell you.